Yo, what's going on, guys? Blue here coming at you with another PGA 2K21 video. A lot of things have changed around here. As you can see, I spent the better part of the last week kind of like moving my little office around, getting resituated, putting some stuff up, redoing wires and all that. So the videos for the last week or so have been lacking. I have been working on a chart for the pitching and all that, but I had to come on, had to make a video today. And this is going to be a spicy one, obviously. I've already seen some of the reaction of the community. Some long-standing members of the community like absolutely rage quitting the game and not wanting to play it. They have done another update to the swing, and this time it addresses the swing on the slow side, meaning you can no longer slow or fast a ball. They're both equal, and we'll get into it. We'll test afterwards. And they also said that they make minor adjustments to some of the fall off damage. Fall off distances. I've been playing a lot of Apex. I'm not 100% sure what that means. I've been trying to test it. I don't see it. I don't find it. But one of the things I have found is that splashes are now duffable. You can actually straight duff 2-3 yards of splash if you fasten red. I'll show you that here. I want to address my thoughts on the surroundings of this. Obviously, my biggest issue, or my biggest gripe, if you will, with these changes is the time it took for them to do it. 9 or 10 months in is tough, but maybe just maybe it's a test for their upcoming game. You know, like we're now into beta mode to see what this swing gives, to see where we're going with the next game and all of that. But I think my second problem is that their communication with how they're doing this has been very like low, lacking. There's no patch notes. They don't explain what they mean by like minor adjustments to fall off distances. We're left to kind of just fend for ourselves, figure it out for ourselves. And maybe that's true to form in golf. Maybe that's what they're looking for, is that authenticity of like, hey, you know, in real golf, you wouldn't know if you partialed 1 extra percent, 2 extra percent, 3 extra percent. But at the end of the day, it is a video game too, and people want to get to be as perfect as humanly possible. So I do think that the patches were needed. I do think that the game's swing mechanic is in a much better place than it is now. The short game is now extremely punishing. They finally nerfed the splash, which in my opinion was the dumbest shot since the beginning. I've never splashed. I've always been a partial pitch guy. The splash out in the fairway was stupid to me. It was way too easy, way too broken. I'm happy they got rid of it. If you want to splash, you got to hit it perfect. So you might as well learn to hit partial pitch or to lay up and give yourself full strokes if your short game's not good enough. The short game in golf is like the hardest part in golf, right? Like having that beautiful touch around the green, making that magnificent chip. It did feel a little bit too mundane, a little bit too easy. We kind of just, always hit it into a bunker and just splash it up 2-3 feet to the hole, putt it in, birdie, eagle, we move on. Purposely driving greens that are supposed to be punishing. We just drive it to the bunker right next, boom, pop it up, get a birdie on a par 4, and it's no more challenging. It's really just easy. Well, now that factor of being difficult make you think twice. Are you going to lay up? Are you going to go for the green? It's brought in a lot more of that IRL feel of golf, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people aren't happy with the way the red fast is nerfed in the amount of distances and stuff like that. And I'm gonna be straight and I'm gonna be direct with you. Too bad. It's really too bad for you, because the red fast and the red slow are not designed to be played in the game. It's that simple. They were never supposed to be there in the first place, and they were a crutch that eliminated a lot of the skill gap that was present, or that should have been present, in a golf game. If you can't handle playing on Master, now that it's more difficult, play the game on Pro. Play the game on Pro-Am. There are different levels. There are avenues available to make the game easier for you. And that's it. That's what that's there for. If everybody played on Master because it was that easy, then what was the point of even having different different levels of difficulty anyway, right? So to me, the game is in the exact place it should be. Again, I want to repeat, the time it took to get it done, deplorable. The communication to all of us about it, about how it's done, absolutely deplorable. and they should they should be ashamed of themselves, really, with the way they handled the rollout of this patch. For those of you who don't know what the TGC community and all that is, that's almost the exclusive way they release this information in a forum deep inside of the TGC tours, and a couple of tweets. There was no patch notes, there was no explanation, there was no chart to show you the fall off damage, there was nothing. There wasn't even a pop-up in the game because it's all backend stuff. There's no download required. There wasn't even a pop-up in the game to let you know that it actually took place. People turned on their game today, took a few shots, made a slow, lost 40 yards to their shot, fasted their splash a little bit, duffed it 4 yards, got pissed off, and left. And these are long-standing people, and it wouldn't be that way if you just communicated to it properly. That's my 2 cents on that. Is improve your communication, and your timeliness was poor. It was piss poor, and it needs to be improved, and hopefully that improves going forward. But other than that, the red fast was absolutely needed to be nerfed. The slow matching the fast is fantastic. The short game being difficult is very, 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 very true to life in my opinion. I suck at the short game though, so maybe there's that. Maybe some people are like, hey, I can short game no problem, but I can't drive a ball. So who knows, you know? But I do feel like they've done the right thing. They've gone down the right path, and hopefully you guys agree. Now this opens up the door. You got to put in some hours. You got to regrind. It's kind of like a whole new game again, a month later after the previous patch. Anyway, let's take a look at it. We'll jump in and we'll see what PGA has to offer us now. All right, so actually, first what I wanted to show you guys is the tweet in itself. You'll notice that that I already responded to somebody. So we have pushed out a small update that tunes slow swing and makes minor adjustments to fall off distances when not swinging with a good tempo. I hate this tweet. I hate this tweet because this tweet tells me nothing. It tells me that you made tunes to the slow in what way, shape, or form. You know, so you know, and I'm telling you, they've matched the fast. So if you read slow, you're getting 40-50 yards taken off of your shot. But what bothers me is the fall off distance being adjusted, minor adjustments. Is that what they did to the splash? Maybe. But again, like I said, the communication could probably be better. Obviously, if you take a look, like there's 1 year later, some people are happy. Is it more like the golf club? Some people are asking them to fix irrelevant leaderboards and stuff like that for the time being. Like, the leaderboards don't need to get fixed now, guys. It's the end of the cycle of the game. Let's fix the leaderboards for the next game. But, you know, testing out new swing mechanics and getting the swing mechanic proper before you release your next game, I have no problems with. So let's jump into the game. Now, I'll just basically show you guys what the patch has done. Again, I don't want to spend too long on this. This is not going to be very long as of this point here, but I will show you what the patch has done. So basically, 295 yards. If you slowed this before, you were able to still hit the 295. So a slight red slow, and I am getting 250. So a slight red slow now falls in the 250 range. I will do a red fast for you here for the comparison. So this is actually just a slight red fast. But actually, this didn't lose distance before. Now you're at 250. So a slight red fast now loses 40 yards. So they've completely penalized into the red. And maybe that's what they mean by a minor adjustment to the fall off. Maybe they've tuned to where before, when you just passed the gray just into the red, you didn't lose any fall off for it. And then if you super red fast, that's only 96%, but a super red fast like 187. So I think what they've actually done is they've increased the damage fall off all the way throughout. So the further you go down the red, the further penalized you get. I'm gonna try and get a gray here. Trying to get a gray for you guys. The gray, obviously, like I'm not a robot at this, so it's hard for me to get. I could do it with maybe close the driver. Again, that's just off of gray, and I'm going to lose. I'm at 250 yards now. So they've completely nerfed the red fasts and the slows altogether. You have to hit in the gray or the white zone in order to get any kind of shot. I'll try one more time on the gray with the driver. There we go. So here's a gray. Let's see where the gray ends up. 295. So the gray 294, 295. The gray no longer penalizes anything with the driver, which it did a little bit. If anything, it's the same. But just so you know, and I found that in my testing of the actual clubs, the gray no longer flies. Basically, the gray gives you the same or just a yard or two less than the perfect does, and then it falls off the further you go down. It's just a consistent fall off. So maybe that's what they mean by the minor distance fall off to the clubs and all that. Let's show you guys the splash. So what's happened with the splash? If you go to splash, this you used to be able to just like, and people would slow it like this, do backspin, full backspin, and all that. You definitely don't want to be doing that anymore. You need all the perfect zone you can get. But if you faster splash, perfect. So okay, perfect splash. Let's again. If you fast the splash, look at that. It's a duff. It's just a duff. It's a literal duff. And if you try and put distance and spin to it, right? You try and put spin to it because you're even worse. Look at that. It's just a duff. Just a straight like you get nothing out of it. So you can no longer resort to the fast on the splash, which was everybody's go-to, seeing as the last patch had kind of made pitching way more difficult, especially the partial pitch. Everybody was back to the splash, and I even within the last 5 days started experimenting with doing splash because it was so less punishing. Well, now that's over. As soon as you hit into the red, you're duffing your shot. So there's another thing I wanted to address that some people have been talking about, and I'm gonna kind of debunk it here. I'm going to debunk it here. Um, People were saying that I've now put it so that I can only perfect tempo. People were saying that with the splash, you could not partial without aiming, so intent mattered. So if I wanted to go 11 yards, I had to hit 11 yards and then partial it to get to my 11 yards. And that I couldn't just leave it at for my splash, leave it at the 7 yards and do this. I don't know where that came from. I falsely spread some of that information based off what people were saying, but that's just not true. I can easily just partial, get the 11 yards, same 60% partial. So as long as you hit your perfect tempo, you can partial the way you partialed before. It's the same with the pitch. As long as you hit your perfect tempo, 6 yards takes me 86% takes me to 24. Might have just found something. I 24. No, that's right. Correct. It's the same thing. Same. So, um, so the partial. Oh, the time. Yeah. So the partial is the same thing. If you want to if you want a partial pitch, um, half 7%, 20, say 27 yards. And pitch, pitch 7. 97, 80%. So it's the same thing. So you can partial without without having to move your aim marker. I'm not sure where that whole rumor started. I saw somebody, I think, put it in a post somewhere, or say it on Twitter or something. But it's not true. You can partial without having to move your aim marker. The only thing I would tell you guys is that when you move your aim marker, you get a vibration feedback. And I'm gonna make a video about this because I guess it's fairly important now. I have a hard time doing it, but if you were to wanting to partial, and you take your swing tempo is like, hold on, back to swing here, 1, 2, 3, and then I want to partial, right? Oops. And I want to partial down to like 187. I would go 1, 2, 3, and you could keep the same tempo, but because you move the aim marker, the game automatically slows down your backswing. You might get a little bit higher, but if you keep that same tempo, 1, 2, 3, you're getting. See how I get the perfect power at the bottom there? And I'm doing the same tempo as I would my full swing. I'm doing the exact same tempo as I would my full swing. So there's one way of doing partials, guys. It's it's up to you. You can practice. I'll make a video on that, and we'll talk about it a little bit some more. But there you have it, guys. There's what's happening now. Brand new swing change to the game. You've seen what it does. If you guys see anything else, or you're not sure if, hey, did this change or did that change, let me know. I've kind of tested as much as I could. Bit of a longer video, but I think it's cool to go into it, show you guys everything that's happening. Also give you my opinion on the state of affairs that's happening in the community. I hope you liked the video. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe. There's some news bubbling about the new EA game. So I'll probably have a video on that soon. And I'll also have a video of all my pitch, chip, splash, all the distances and stuff. That'll be coming at some point this week as well. Until next time, I'm Blue, and I'm out, guys. Peace!